Experts uncovered an ancient mosaic that may shed light on one of Jesus's most famous miracles. It's summer on the shores of the Sea of Galilee in Israel, and a team of archaeologists are slaving away under the boiling sun. In the ruins of an ancient city, the researchers have discovered the remains of a church that was constructed by Christians many years ago. And as they dig deeper, the team discover a mysterious mosaic. Could this ancient artwork shed new light on a miracle straight out of biblical times? The area that the archaeologists were investigating certainly has a long and storied history. In any case, in fact, by the time that Christians arrived in the 4th century AD, Hippos Susita was already a bustling metropolis. And as they were keen to spread their faith to the city inhabitants, these early followers of Jesus Christ subsequently erected a number of places of worship, including the Southwest Church. Then, in July 2019, archaeologists were meticulously excavating this ancient church in a bid to learn more about its mysterious past. And there, beneath a layer of ash, they discovered the most fascinating artifact of all. For 1,600 years, a colorful mosaic had been hidden from sight. Now, however, its striking subject matter was about to be revealed. We'll learn more about what the experts discovered later, but first let's explore the history of the region in which the mosaic was found. In the Jordan Rift Valley in northeast Israel lies the Sea of Galilee, a vast freshwater lake more than 30 miles across. And on a hill to the east of the water, a great settlement once stood. First established sometime in the 1st century AD, the city would become known as Antiochia Hippos by the Romans, while the region's Aramaic speakers would call it Susita. Then, in the 2nd century AD, Hippos became part of the Roman province of Palestina. And from that point on, the city began to thrive. Before long, its streets had become grand boulevards lined with Egyptian marble, while an advanced water system was also built to support the burgeoning population. According to archaeologists, Hippos was home to a minimum of 7 different churches, possibly more. And for centuries, the city continued to thrive as a hub of the Christian religion. In fact, even after Muslim armies conquered the region in the 7th century AD, the locals were permitted to continue with their religious beliefs. In 749 AD, however, Hippos was almost completely destroyed by a devastating earthquake, with the city subsequently lost to time for virtually the next 1,000 years. Then, in the mid-20th century, archaeologists started excavating the region. And over the course of several decades, a fascinating story began to emerge. From the 1950s onwards, researchers began uncovering ancient domestic structures in the ruins of Hippos, including the remains of a grand church in the southeast of the city. Yet large-scale excavations did not take place until the turn of the century, when an international team embarked on an ambitious project. Most notably, in 2005, the team began excavating a location in the southwest of the city, as at the time, some believed that the ruins of an ancient synagogue might be found in the area. And at first, the relics recovered from this site seemingly appeared to confirm this theory too. Ultimately, however, archaeologists would realize that they were actually looking at the remains of another church. Thought to date from the 5th century AD, this place of worship was dubbed as the Southwest or Synagogue Church. And according to researchers, it had once been housed in a rectangular building that had been constructed on an axis from east to west. A semicircular recess is also thought to have been built into the wall. Yet, although archaeologists have only been able to excavate the eastern end of the church so far, they've nevertheless managed to build up a surprisingly clear picture of the structure. It seems that the main hall once boasted 2 rows of 5 columns that split the room into 2 aisles and a nave. And most impressively of all, the floor of the church was once covered in elaborate mosaics. But there was one thing that really made the Southwest Church stand out from the other ruins scattered across Hippos. You see, researchers suspected that the building was not destroyed in the disastrous earthquake of 749 AD. Instead, they believed that it fell long before tremors tore through the city. In particular, experts discovered evidence that the Southwest Church had actually been destroyed by a great fire. And according to Dr. Michael Eisenberg from the University of Haifa, who co-directed the excavations, this particular event may have occurred towards the beginning of the 7th century. At around that time, Eisenberg pointed out, the region was invaded by the Sasanians from Persia. Whatever the reason for the building's destruction, though, researchers are in little doubt that it burned down. Specifically, they believe that part of the structure caved in, thus coating the main hall in a layer of ash and debris. But while this dramatic event meant the end of the Southwest Church as an active place of worship, it also preserved it for future archaeologists to explore. Yes, while other structures weathered and decayed gradually, the Southwest Church was effectively frozen in time. And in July 2019, Eisenberg explained the process in an interview with Haaretz, saying, "The mosaic floor is the best preserved in Hippos thanks to the sudden collapse of the roofing and walls, which instantly covered up the entire mosaic with a protective layer of ash." According to reports, the engravings had also been preserved beneath the layer of ash inside the church and were both in excellent condition. Yet one team member soon noticed that something was wrong. And Gregor Stab, an epigraphist at the University of Cologne, Germany, would go on to claim that the Greek writing that made up the inscriptions was actually of a very poor standard. "There is a non-existent word," Eisenberg explained to Haaretz. "There are spelling mistakes throughout the writing. And bizarrely, the quality of the writing serves in marked contrast to the skill evident in the mosaics throughout the church. This has led experts to conclude that Greek may not have been the main language in Hippos at the time. Greek may have been relegated to being the people's holy tongue," Eisenberg continued. "We're starting to wonder if their speech was Aramaic and only the Holy Scripture and ceremonies were in Greek. If true, then this theory would mean that those who had built the burnt church had spoken the language typically associated with Jesus Christ." To date, archaeologists have excavated about 90% of the mosaic that covers the floor of the burnt church, with Eisenberg hoping that future work on the remaining 10% will tell us even more about the site. And as they move forward, researchers plan to use 3D modeling techniques to study the design in greater detail. Will there be even more revelations to come? The truth remains to be seen.